today about investing in our communities. It's about resources, addressing poverty. That's a public safety piece that we need to address. But right now, we have a real issue in our city in reference to violence. Many of you in this room are afraid to go to some parts of the city that you never had that fear before. We need to have reform, but also accountability. The fact that we normally have 6,500 police officers, we're down about 1,100 police officers. So we need to make sure that we have officers that look like the people in this room. And this is something I can talk to personally because I was in the DA's office. I was an assistant district attorney, and I remember being racially profiled when I was leaving the DA's office. So we need to have people that understand the issues in this city. But we also need to make sure that when we have reform and accountability, it's done in a way that we're making sure that people have an understanding of what's going on in our city. We have people, what I call the Pastors Aid Society. I don't see a lot of people in this room that equal that Pastors Aid Society who worked in DC 33 or worked at SEPTA. They're afraid to go back to the church they grew up in. They've never had that fear before until right now because they're afraid that they may get shot, or if their son, grandson, or nephew are driving their car, they're going to get pulled over by being harassed. But they're also concerned because there's someone in the community, and we know there's people in the community that may shoot that son, grandson, or nephew with a stray bullet. And this, we need to keep it real. This is an issue. We know we have some people in our communities, and we need to provide a pathway if we want to get out that life and provide that opportunity, and we should do that with focused deterrence. But we also know we need to have some accountability. And that's something that we have lost. We have lost that accountability and the predictability of enforcement and punishment. So if someone gets caught up in a situation, we need to provide that pathway. We need to do it every opportunity we can. But if someone's going to be a terrorist in our communities and not make it safe for my mother, your aunt, you in this room, to be able to live in the community where you invest your dollars in our police, we need to make sure that accountability is there. And the person wants to reform themselves, give them that pathway. That's not what's happening in this city. We know that. We know there's parts of our communities and parts of our city that we used to go to without having any fear. Now we have fear. And I'm talking men, women of all different ages. So we need to bring back some of the issues and making sure we increase the number of police officers that understand what it looks like to be in our communities, to walk the beats, as Councilmember Parker said. And we need to make sure we get the return on our investment. We pay our tax dollars. Are we getting the return on our investment for policing? No. In reference to prosecution of cases? Or in reference to clearing cases in the police department. So we need to have that type of return on our investment in our city to make sure we're spending the tax dollars the way that we should. Because we, and I say we as elected officials, we have failed this city. We have failed this city because we allowed our city to get to a point where we had 499 homicides. Last year, 562 homicides. Where are we going to be this year? So we can squabble about different issues, or we can work together collectively, because there's been a lot of back and forth, but I don't like you, and I don't like Josh Shapiro, and I don't like this person, but kids are dying. Kids are dying. And when I think about issues, I think about my son who's on the autism spectrum, and we taught him, when you come in contact with police or other people and doesn't have the best communication, take out the card that has your name and your email on it. But my concern is, as much as I taught my son to do that, he may take out that card trying to communicate with a police officer, and he may get shot. So I'm dealing with these issues of how we provide enforcement in reference to people who need to be addressed, but also how we do it with police officers who don't know or understand that my son is just trying to communicate with you. So that's the real issue that we need to deal with this city. And we can talk around the issue, but we know we need to address these issues in our city, or we're going to have 600 homicides in the future.